What's up, gamers? Welcome to Battle Mallet Podcast, episode 13, #Pod Squad. This is a podcast delving into the minds of four busy gamers, their annual journey to the Nova Open Gaming Convention, the games that we love, and balancing life with those games. I'm Jared Johnson, and this week we've got with me Trace Hyde.
What's up, everybody?
Jason Murray.
Are we going on one or before one?
Max Bernstein.
Definitely on one.
Randal Slate.
I'm Randal Slate.
And Jonathan Davis.
I'm Jonathan Davis.
Good. I'm glad we got all that cleared up. And it's on one, after one, whatever you want to do. So for some of our listeners, some of these names are hopefully familiar, but they might not be. Max and Randall are joining us from the Battle for Salvation Warhammer Underworlds podcast, which is a name that's almost as long as the Middle-earth strategy battle game. And then Jonathan Davis is joining us from the Path to Glory podcast and from his Well of Power website. We have spoken with them before, but we got the chance to hang out with these guys at Nova, and we had a great time. So we thought we'd get together with them and have them on the show with us. And so, as is our tradition, we've got a few questions for them so you, our listeners, can get to know them a little better. So I'm just going to run through the questions. We'll get through them, and then once everybody's like really comfortable and feels really familiar with everybody, then we'll talk about how Nova went and our experiences there. So the first question that we like to ask is, what is your first memory of board gaming? So why don't we start with you, Randall? First memory board gaming.
My first memory of board gaming was playing Clue with my mom and dad. I was an only child, so board games were just so fun.
Just getting crushed all the time.
Yeah. And so I'm playing Clue with my mom and dad, and I was so young I didn't even know how to read, and my dad had to help me, but he knew all the information that I knew, which is kind of a backwards way to play Clue. But yeah, that's probably my earliest memory of playing board games.
Okay. Cool. Max?
Board games. I mean, I feel like I have good memories of board games as a kid, but I don't remember like my first one. I do know that I spent a lot of time with Hero Quest.
As did we.
Yeah, and I still have it. I still have like the original, like it's busted, but it's in my closet right now. And I probably played that like a lot when I was 10. I'm sure I did a lot of, like just Monopoly and stuff earlier than that.
Yeah.
But Hero Quest was the first one that's like as close to Underworlds as you can get. I mean, that's kind of. I remember playing a little bit of Dungeons and Dragons, maybe like in middle school, and definitely did. And I definitely did a few Magic tournaments back then, but that was like a long time ago.
What was your favorite character in Hero Quest?
Oh, I usually played the DM because my friends would come and play the other things. I was more into it than anybody else.
Nice.
Yeah.
Zoltan.
I don't remember. There was the barbarian. There was the dwarf. The wizard.
No, the GM I think was called Jared.
Oh yeah,
I think it's Zoltan.
Zoltar or something like that.
Zoltar,
Zarkon.
That's right.
Zarkon.
There, it's definitely Zarkon.
No, so I thought Zarkon isn't that?
No, that's Voltron.
That's yeah.
We don't know.
We're not getting nerds.
Were we
I'm trying to remember
about-
back to the 90s. This is very different.
Hero Quest. Anyway, so before we get too far and just completely derail and do an entire Hero Quest podcast, Jonathan, it would.
Yeah.
Jonathan, what was your first memory of board games?
I think the first one I can remember was the board game Sorry.
Okay.
You go in circles and I think you just screw each other over. I don't really remember.
Yeah.
I play with my kids still.
Nice.
Okay. I have a distinct memory playing that on like the deck of a like house we used to rent out in New Hampshire.
Wow.
So, I don't remember anything else about the game really, but I distinctly remember that.
Nice. Cool. Memories flooding back in.
Yeah, interesting question.
Yeah. Cool. So the next question, we'll go in the same order so everybody can be prepped and ready. How did you get into either Underworlds or Games Workshop games before Underworlds? Randall?
Well, I don't get any prep time.
This is true.
It's fine. I don't need it. I remember playing the first Warhammer game was the 3rd edition starter set with like the Space Marines versus the Orcs with the grots and the little picture of a dreadnought.
Yes.
with that you put on a little stand up. It's just like
Yes.
a picture with a little cardboard dreadnought, and you put it on the little stand, and it moves around. So yeah, probably the third edition. Then I stopped playing it for like a really long time until I don't know, maybe like 2013, and then I got back into 40K again.
Okay.
And then I don't really know what drew me to the Underworlds. I guess it was like the combination of like the cards and like the skirmish battle. I was like looking for a small warband army or like game to play. I remember I tried War Machine. I didn't like that. X-Wing was just kind of too different. And then all the like 40K, like this is before Kill Team came out, so all the like 40K versions and Age of Sigmar versions of skirmish games were just pretty terrible. So and then when I actually I was like really excited about it when I first got it. And I tried to, teach all my friends how to play it, and nobody really liked it except Max and Rob. Yeah. And then once Max was like instantly hooked to it when I think like the first game we played.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah, very soon thereafter.
Yeah. Because I remember like I think like you showed up one night to like play X-Wing, and I was like, you should just play this game because we're all playing it. It was like me, Rob, and some other person. And we played it, and you were like, what do I have to get? Like, tell me what to get. I'm in.
Well, yeah, I mean, and it's a good segue because, and I'm glad you guys went to Randall first because Randall's the one who introduced me to the game. But I was playing X-Wing really intently for a while. I had picked up that core box in Barnes and Noble, by the way, right around the corner from where Dreadfane is right now.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And so I was playing that, and then I was like, oh, this is so cool. And I was like looking around, can you play this in Westchester, New York? Like I can't. And then I'm like, oh, there's like a gaming club 2 miles away from my house. So I started going to that. And when I got there, people were playing X-Wing, but the X-Wing scene dried up really, really quickly right after that. And so Randall's like, hey, we're playing this. I'm like, okay. And he gifted me the Magor's
Oh,
Fiends.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, first bump's
Nice.
free.
Yeah.
Exactly.
We went to this great store called The Rift up in Peekskill, New York, and like for just showing up, he gave me the Magor's Fiend box, and I already had it, so I just gave it to Max because I didn't have anything to do with it, and then
and we all remember what I did
Rest
with
is
that
history.
last year.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Nice.
you can thank Randall for that shit.
Yeah.
Thanks, Randall.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Good, you can
Sorry,
bleep that out.
everyone at Nova
Yep.
last year who got crapped on by
Yeah, to
Max's
have my
Magor
team.
Fiend.
My round one opponent last year.
Yep.
Max.
That's right.
Oh
Yep.
shit.
That's
Yep.
right.
It's good
Oh,
times.
see, we've already
Oh,
cursed
I
twice. They
wasn't
told us not to
I
do
wasn't
that.
supposed to say that.
Got to go back and bleep that. Somebody mark that, timestamp that.
That's my one. You got
Yeah.
one.
I had one,
I'll
and you
mail
had
you
one.
a check for however many dollars.
Perfect. 25 cents, right? Throw them in the swear jar. Anyway, but that's how I got into it, is that the X-Wing scene dried up at BFS, and then we just got elbow deep in Underworlds because that's just what was around. And there was no way I was getting into 40K because that just looks like a job.
Yeah, it is.
So Underworlds is just a lot quicker to get into it.
Yep.
And then you actually started painting.
Yeah, I never painted before. That's right.
That was pretty cool.
And it still doesn't appear as though I know what I'm doing.
But you have a theme and you go with it. And that's
There's
all.
paint on the
Exactly.
models.
There's paint on the
Which
models.
counts.
That's true.
That counts.
And I know how to dry brush, so they're not terrible.
There
It's
you
all
go.
about the confidence in what you wear, right?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
To
So
certain degrees. I've definitely seen people wearing crazy clothes that really think they're, hot crap. And then I go like, oh man, do I tell them?
You
No.
told me I look good.
But you don't tell them.
Well, your
Oh,
Hulk
yeah.
smash and 3 Hawkeyes is pretty awesome. So.
Yeah, I got to give it up to Rob Mead for that because my idea was the Hulk, but his idea was the Hawkeyes. But it was so on point.
Yeah.
I just had to do it.
it's perfect.
Well, they're useless.
They are.
Exactly.
So let's turn to Jonathan. Jonathan, how did you start with either Games Workshop products or Underworlds, if that was your first one?
So I started, well, I guess really before Games Workshop stuff. I wanted something like a war game, and I remember like I don't know how old I must have been, like an early teenager. I used to play with Legos a lot, or maybe not even a teenager at that point. And they had this really crappy like war game you could do with Legos called Brick Wars.
Oh,
And I tried to make that work. And I think it was mostly just me and my brother. But like they had rules, they were just really bad. And then I think it was college. Somebody I worked with was getting into it, and they wanted to split the Black Reach starter box.
okay.
Oh, nice.
And I got
Classic.
the orcs, and then I immediately started power gaming and realized that the orcs were not very good compared to the Marines. So then I just bought a bunch of Space Wolves, and this was 5th edition.
Yep.
So,
Like one
Yeah.
does.
Drop
Yeah.
pods.
Edition.
yeah,
Yes.
Grey Knights weren't out yet, so it was just Rhino Rush, But 16 missile launchers, all that good stuff.
Oh my gosh.
And then I played from 5th to 6th, and then finished college and just kind of stopped because the 40K was in a really weird place. And then I came back, I guess, with the beginning of 8th, but everything I have is Marines, and it's all like hot garbage. So I kind of just took a break, and then somehow I bought Underworlds, and there were people that played it at the store near me, so started playing it. And I definitely like that it's competitive, and it's been designed to be competitive. So
Yeah. That's
And
definitely a good draw.
you can tell it's been designed
yeah,
with that in mind. It's not like 40K to me has never been designed as a competitive game. It's a fun narrative beers and pretzels game. But this
Right.
has got the bones of something that you want to be competitive.
yeah, and that's what I like about it. I like 40K, and I'll still probably play it, but you really have to make sure that you're on the same page with your opponent about what kind of game you want to have. And I don't really find that really happens in Underworld. I think everybody's just trying to win. So
Yeah, that's true.
I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever played a game where people are like, "Hey, let's just play a casual game."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you only get like you get 12 activations. Like you
The-
gotta try to win right now.
Yeah, I think the most that we've ever done with each other is I'm trying something out, and that's really all we
Yeah.
say. So
Well, in 40K and in AOS, they market the games to say this is the 3 ways to play. They have the
Right.
narrative, matched, and open, or whatever.
Right.
Is that what it is? Open? Is that the third
Yes.
one?
Yes.
open
Yeah,
match,
so-
open narrative and match play. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's different rules that support those different structures, but in Underworlds there's no other way. It's
Yeah.
just there's only one way, so
Yeah.
there's no narrative aspect. I guess the closest you can get would be to doing a multiplayer with 3 and 4 people,
Right.
Mhm.
or the giant
or
mode.
the giant, which
But
is really
even that,
fun.
you're still trying to win.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's not co-op or anything. It's
yeah.
And Jonathan, your home store now is the Citadel, right? You play out of the big GW store down there.
Yeah, that's correct. There's a few third-party stores that I'll play at as well. But there's because I'm in the Dallas-Fort Worth area of Texas, and they have the Citadel there, and it's a pretty big store. They have maybe 12 40K tables in it.
Oh wow,
Decent.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So for Underworlds, they can do like at least 30 people if they
Yeah.
wanted to. And I think they've had I think they had about 20 or so at the first opening.
Okay.
and they got food there.
They have it's like a cafe, so they have coffee and drinks, and they have like donuts and pastries and stuff. So
How's
it's
that?
pretty cool.
Is that
It's
good?
Yeah, the I don't know where the coffee's from, but all the food is like from a bakery that's like down the street. And it's like downtown historic Grapevine, Texas, which is one of the nicer towns in the area. So it's definitely marketed towards like, rich white people.
Mhm.
Well, good. And then in Max and in Randall, you guys actually play out of a club, right? Your home is not a shop; it's an actual gaming club up in New York, right?
It's like a community center.
Nice.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
And-
the community rec center, and then we rent a room in there once per week.
Okay.
And
That's cool.
there's
And
a lot
some
more.
weekends we can hold our own tournaments there.
Yeah, we've gotten, let's see, our biggest one. I think our biggest one was 8 for Underworlds, and
Yeah.
then
And for
let's see,
40K,
for 40K
they fill the
they
whole
got
place
like,
up. Yeah.
oh my god, they fill the place up. It's crazy. They play a lot of 40K, a lot of D&D, and then there's always like 1 or 2 groups playing just like random board game stuff.
Well, those guys are nuts. It's whatever came out on Kickstarter. They have it and all the expansions for it, and they crack out on that.
Where they were playing like Outer Rim last time I looked.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, real quick, let's run through what is your current favorite faction for Underworlds. So, Randall.
It's got to be Thorns of the Briar Queen.
Nice. Max.
I hate all of them right now. I'm kind of just like done. I would have to say, I mean, I brought Mollog to Nova because I just thought that I would be able to, because I just had so much experience with it.
Right.
But like, I don't know, I'm just kind of like over all of them right now.
Okay.
I'm ready to move on. Like I'm ready to see what's next.
Fair enough.
I think we know Jonathan's.
Probably the Gits or Godsworn. Honestly.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Godsworn are fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that I'd like to
I'm
play
changing
them,
my answer to Godsworn because they're fun. They're not good over long tournaments
right.
because there's just so much. It's the same thing with Mollog. There's just so much variance with them, but they are fun. You never have a bad game with them.
Yeah.
Win or lose.
It's always explosive. I play Gits very similar with pure carnage and like weapons and like nonsense, and so you're just trying to kill everything and die, and like it's just fun. So that's my favorite.
Nice.
That's how Dave Sanders designed it.
Designed
The game.
the game.
To be, picking models up and attacking each other.
Yeah.
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 I don't know. That was kind of like a joke of Magic. Like that's how Richard Garfield intended, or whatever.
Clearly, we're all veteran Magic players here.
Right.
Yep.
I think I quit in 5th edition. That was like 1994 or something.
Nice.
I don't know.
Back in the heyday.
Yeah, man.
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Me neither.
I can only have one money trap in my life, and this
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you.
Well, cool. Well, why don't we take a quick break here, and then when we get back, I think Jason's going to lead us through kind of talking over our Nova experiences and our thoughts while we were there, and maybe some thoughts about moving forward. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. In this segment, we're going to go through kind of the Nova experience. So we spend all year getting ready to travel to wonderful Nova, and want to tell you the time that we had. Did we like it? Did we not like it? But we have these special guests on, so we will kick it off with Randall. How did you prep for Nova? Like, what did you do to get ready for the tournament or to travel to Nova? Anything special?
Well, I think the biggest thing was I wanted to change my deck from my Adepticon deck, because the Adepticon format was different. It was just kind of like a free-for-all and playing each other, and then they cut to the top 2. So I knew that the format was going to be different at this one. So I wanted to just sort of build my deck so that it could, I could maybe win my games and then have a lot of tiebreaker points. So I transitioned the deck to this more like a hold objectives style objectives deck, hold the objective markers. And I just had to play a couple games with that to figure out how to work with it, because I was doing more of like an aggressive, a lot more score immediatelys with Superior Tactician style deck. And I was, I probably should have done a little bit more prep. I have to get into the playing online, the Vassal and the Tabletop Simulator, because it's mainly just me and Max that play each other, and he was gone for the last couple of weeks. So I was playing with some new people actually at the Battle for Salvation Club, and I was just kind of basically teaching them how to play the game, playing with different warbands. So that's really it.
So the format at Adepticon was like, there wasn't Swiss pairing. It was just you got paired against somebody.
Yeah, it was the way that it used to work, the old pairing system for Grand Clashes, where they have like the best people play the worst people, or
Yeah.
and then they have the glory, the total glory to make the seeds for the next round or something like that.
Yeah, so top plays bottom, basically. Yeah. Okay.
That's how it was at Adept, and then they cut to the top 2 people for the final game.
For the final.
But I knew that Nova was going to be the more improved way. So I wanted to just make sure I could win and have a lot of tiebreaker points.
Cool. Well, good. And you mentioned that Max was gone for a few weeks, so your sparring partner was MIA. So we'll go to Max next. Max being gone. How did you prep?
I had signed up for Nova like literally the day that they turned on. Apparently, I was like one of those first 400, so I got that like cool gift pack. Anyway, so it was like right there, and then right after that, my wife bought the tickets to go to Italy. And I'm like, okay, what days are they? And it turned out to be August 17th to the 27th or 28th.
Oh, wow.
So like I got home 3 p.m. the day before I had to drive down to Nova.
Oh my gosh.
On Italy time. So it was like kind of difficult. Anyway, but just to backtrack, I was playing a lot of Guardians beforehand. I had won a small tournament at the Rift with Guardians, and I just remember it being so arduous to play them, and so like crit dependent, because I had like I had like Overpower in the deck, and Yulthari needs to get a crit just to inspire if Healing Potion doesn't show up. So I was just kind of getting frustrated with them, and just like how unreliable I found Yulthari, the Guardians, to be very unreliable personally. So I thought like, well, I'm spending all this time playing, a warband with a powerful but fragile leader. So why don't I just switch back to Malog, which is what I was playing earlier in the season, which is the leader is everything and not fragile and still very powerful. So I switched over to Malog maybe like a week before I went away on vacation, and I was playing Malog on Vassal a lot. I actually brought my computer, which is the computer of legend at this point.
It is
as being the slowest brick of a computer. Like so all of you at home, it took me a half an hour to even get into this Google like Hangout chat with everybody like that. They actually had to change from Skype to Google Hangout just so I can be part of this. So I thank you all. But that's like that's my computer for you. And I actually brought it on the airplane, and I brought it to Italy. And I'm like sitting in this, what can only be described as a villa overlooking the Aeolian Islands. And I'm like sitting there playing Vassal like a jerk. My wife's like, "Are you going to hang out with us?" I'm like, yeah.
Totally.
So while I was there, I was basically, and there's also like a time difference. So I'm just playing with like all these European people. There was like this guy in Ireland, some dude in a couple of people from Germany, and there was definitely this one guy. Oh, what was his name? It's not Fabio. It's like something like that though. And he's like a northern Italian guy, and he was like, "Yeah, we play it up here, but they don't play it down south where you are." I'm like, "Oh, okay, forget it." So I just ended up playing a lot of Vassal and just kind of getting my feet wet and trying to, just figure out which cards are working, which cards are not. And I think I'd say 90% of the way there. There was a couple of cards that, in retrospect, I should have changed, but most of them were pretty good.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you didn't get yourself in hot water playing Vassal on your family vacation to then spend 5 days away from them when you got back stateside.
Well, I got lucky on one day because my kid got sick. So the rest of the family went to the beach and I stayed home with my kid, but he was sick. So he slept for like 5 hours.
Oh, nice.
Just played a bunch.
That is making
you lucky
use of your
guy.
time.
I know.
Didn't get to go to the beach.
Yeah, my kid got an ear infection. Woo! That's where I'm at.
You didn't get to go to the beach in Italy. Lucky.
I didn't. Well, not
lucky
on that
you.
day. I mean, I went basically every other day.
Okay. Well, that's
Then And when he talks about playing Vassal on his computer, it was really like playing Hot Seat. He'd mail the directions of his moves to his competitors.
No. It actually works. Like because Jason, we tried a while ago to get me on Tabletop Simulator, and my computer could not handle.
That's a hardcore program.
Yeah, well, it's 3-dimensional, and there's like a lot of
physics.
Pieces. Vassal is all just like flat 2-dimensional space. It's a lot easier.
It's like playing chess.
Yeah, it's like playing one of those like flat chess games. Yeah.
Well, awesome.
Yep.
It's really maximizing your time. It's some good stuff there.
Nice pun.
Caught that, huh? And last but not least, Jonathan, how'd you prep to go to Nova?
Well, I guess as far as like Underworlds goes, I was thinking initially that I would play the Godsworn Hunt, but then with the banned and restricted list, I just wasn't winning with them anymore. Like especially Ghosts, Thorns, and Gits. I feel like I was getting outscored even if I was killing stuff, and even if like I scored all my objectives, I was still getting outscored. So then I was going to switch over to Gits, and that was I think before Gen Con. And then when Jimmy won Gen Con with Reavers and Shardgale and things like that, I really didn't think that my Gits deck was going to be able to cut it. And then I played against a local guy named Tim here, and he was playing Magor's Fiends. And I was just getting stomped because the Gits just cannot handle, especially if the Magors win the boards. So then I ended up switching over to the Thundrix, and I played it a little bit in my local. I played it a little bit online. I think I actually got a couple games in with Jared. And that's basically it. I built them kind of a weird way. I kind of went like a passive defensive sort of way. And so it took me a little bit to get used to that. I asked couple people online to look at it and see what they thought. Michael Carlin from the Steel City blog gave me some pretty good input. What was that sound, man?
I sent him my deck, and he's like, "Yeah, man, it's good. Okay." He's giving you like detailed stuff.
Yeah, but
Carlin, got a lot of explaining to do.
They play he plays really good passive, right? Like Steel City, like that's their gimmick. You're sending him a Mollog deck that's bash you in the face. Of course, he's gonna be like
Mollog. Well, he played Tommy Mollog.
Yeah, he played Tommy Mollog.
No, he played aggressive on one of them. I'm sending him a message.
Initially, I didn't have a bag of tricks, and he was like, "You absolutely need a bag of tricks," and he was 100% right. And I think I added Lethal Ward in the last minute, and I think that won me a game as well. So it was all up to the last minute, really.
So was there any contention between you and your podcast co-host with him taking the Sky Dwarfs, the Grand Clash before? Did he give you any junk?
No, Amon was basically done with them. He told me he played them, I think, 3 Grand Clashes in a row, or 2, or maybe 2. This would have been 3, I think, and I think he was just tired of them. Yeah, I mean, I know I don't like playing the same warband more than like I'm done with Thundrix for a long time, probably.
That's interesting that we have the Northern UK influence.
Sure.
Sort of in our Nova tournament that we had, because you said you're playing more of a defensive or a control, as they call it up there.
Yeah, maybe control.
They just call it control if they stand back, and if it's not super aggro, that's what they call it.
Right. Yeah, I think that's technically the correct word for what I was doing. Yeah. Probably control.
I thought they were just giant Janet Jackson fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a weird
I think it's that too.
Combos.
That's a reach.
I know. I know. Well, yeah. I haven't said a joke in a while, so
that's a good one.
I should get in there.
Max was getting uneasy. He had to throw something in there. He can't gif over the radio, so he needs to actually.
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely can't.
Well, good. I mean, that's all good prep stuff, and but really, the meat and potatoes is the actual Nova experience. So, Randall, what was your favorite, or maybe not favorite, part of Nova? Like, what makes Nova stand out above anything else?
Well, okay, there's two parts to that, I guess. My favorite Nova moment was when I got to play my good buddy Jared
Oh,
in the second round.
It's such a good moment. I feel like we had a moment.
We did. That was honestly a really fun game, but he did clobber me last year at Nova, so
Yeah,
it was
turnabout
fun we
was
got to
fair
play
play.
again. And that's a kind of a cool thing about, well, at least Nova this year, is last year, we were all, well, other than Jonathan and Aman, but we were all there, and we weren't really friends, or we didn't know each other really.
Yeah.
I think we all met there briefly, but then, this year we all kind of came together and we were all hanging out. It was really fun.
Mhm.
yeah.
I'm a little hurt. You didn't think our game was fun.
Well, it was fun, but it wasn't as fun as the Jared game.
This is true.
It is
And
more
we didn't
fun to
play
win.
last year.
You
maybe.
owed him one for sure.
Yeah.
Is that the
And I
game you
won
guys
that
got really
game.
loud on? Was that the game where you're like shouting out nonstop?
No, the game where I was shouting was because when I played Aman, he destroyed me, and then I had like one in the second game. He was way ahead on Glory, and all I had was Varklov left, and there was nothing I could do. So I was getting hype and say, "I'm gonna attack you with Varklov," and I'm like, "I deal 2 damage," and he's like, "All right, like I have 5 health and 17 more Glory than you, and I auto hit you with my spells and all my stuff." So I was just, because it was like really tense up to that point, and then at that point I figured there's nothing I can do right now, so might as well just have fun. So then the second question is like, how does it compare to other events?
Yeah.
And just, in general, Nova just kind of feels like more of a big party type event than other tournaments are, like Adepticon or ATC. ATC is but Adepticon and ATC from the 40K side are just, total meat grinder tournaments where, only the strong survive. And Nova is just like a big party. Everyone's having fun. More laid back. It's in like a nice place. It's in like a really nice hotel.
Yeah.
And it's also not as like commercial. I don't know if that's the right word. It's not. The Adepticon has like a big selling and demoing games aspect to it. And Nova, the shops or whatever, there's really not that many. It's more
There's just
like
a handful a handful on the base level.
Adepticon has all, everybody who's involved in the miniature wargaming market is there. Like the artist opus or whatever, all the brush companies, all the paint companies are there.
Interesting.
And, and there's a whole big like vendor hall. It's enormous. It's like the size of the 40K hall. It's just the other side of the huge building there.
So would you
Which
say
is nice, but yeah, Nova is just a different experience.
Would you say you prefer the Nova experience just because it is more of like a friendly type atmosphere?
I'd say it just, completes the cycle. You have the Adepticon, which is like the biggest event. And then you have, well, I haven't been to Las Vegas yet. I need to, I'm sure that's a whole different thing. But ATC is, just a hardcore tournament. And then Nova is just a fun, more laid back, more party experience. So all three of them together are important.
Very good. Cool. Well, thanks. Max, what was your favorite experience at Nova? And I don't believe you've attended any other cons. So like, what makes Nova your con of choice?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm decently new to tabletop gaming. I just started the X-Wing thing was like maybe 2 springs ago or something. So I haven't really been playing for very long. And, and I went to Nova last year. So it's really I can only compare the 2 years to each other. I can't really do anything else. But the one thing I do love about Nova, and a lot of people are complaining because they see, the setup for the Nova
Schedule.
The schedule for the Underworlds tournament, and they're like, wait, it's like you got 2 games on Thursday and then 1 on Friday and then 1 on Saturday and then 3 on Sunday. Like, why don't you just do it all in one day? That's because Nova's like it's a hangout weekend. Like people play multiple things. Like I got to play X-Wing on Saturday because it didn't overlap with Underworlds, and I got to go hang out with those people from who came down from NYC that I know. So you know, and I got to go to like a painting class. There's like it's not geared towards. It is geared towards super competitive play. Obviously, we were all going there trying to be competitive, but there's also this aspect of just, you know, wargaming culture and community that's kind of a little bit more important, I think, than what I'm hearing described from other places, where it's like just like you go there, you play, you're done, you go home, which is what it sounded like Adepticon might have been for me if I had gone to that. Yeah, no, but this is like I go there and we hang out for like 3.5 days, and yeah, we incidentally are playing an Underworlds tournament over a few days while we're doing it. So it's really about it's about the experience. So as far as like what was great about it, I mean, I'm glad that I get to see all of you guys. Jonathan, we never met before. Aman and I had never met before, so that was a chance for me to do that face to face anyway, because we talked. Obviously, I'd guested on your show. You know, all the BM guys.
Yes,
I got that in.
Yes.
There it is.
By the way, I know that so I'm sorry that I pointed it out to you guys, but you know, ours is BS, so it's not much better. Okay.
True.
Just say,
BFS.
just say. But I'm glad to. Yeah, but it's like
Extra
4.
F.
You drop it. It's like it's a little F with a big B and a big S. Okay. Anyway, but I got to see all you guys again. You know, and it's funny too, because after playing all of you, and then we started a podcast. Then you guys all started a podcast. And I'm like, oh,
we just
those
want to be like
guys.
you.
I remember those dudes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But I mean, you did a good job, I think. So we got together. It's nice. I like seeing you guys again. I like being able to hang out. You know, so infrequently do I get to have like serious bro time for so long in a row. So so that was good. But I mean, just like going to the painting classes was like a big deal for me, because I got to learn a lot. And also, you know, Randall snuck me into what was the guy, Sam Lenz? What's his name?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Sam Lenz, yeah.
Sam Lenz. He snuck me into like a Sam Lenz one, which is like he's
Yeah, he's
high up there.
he's top tier.
for an American painter anyway. I mean, he's no Duncan, but
No.
he's
So
he's
what?
good, man.
So Max,
Sorry,
What
just-
class
just
did you
in,
actually
like-
take? What
Oh,
did
well,
you
I
actually
took an
take?
intro. Hold on. First of all, let me just say, Sam, I know you're out there listening. I didn't mean that the way that it sounded. Let me backtrack a little bit. Like Duncan is like some sort of like Warhammer deity or something like that. Like people really, and I'm just saying, it's like, this is America. You know, we don't do that kind of hero worship here. We're just like, yo, this guy, this Sam Lenz guy, he's the dopest. But I learned a lot from him. He was doing like, I learned how to like draw like a skull.
Oh, nice.
Freehand skull.
Freehand.
freehanding
Like
class?
I don't know how to draw a damn thing, like at all.
It's just
And
some
I was-
triangles.
Two
Yeah,
circles,
no, but like I didn't know that.
two
I didn't know
circles,
that
and you have an
just-
owl.
I didn't know that. I didn't know you just make a circle with like a little cross in it, and you put a little couple of dots here. You make a little A at the bottom, and that's a skull, and then you like connect it in a certain way, and like that just opened my mind to like how art works.
Right.
Yep.
For those who are fans of what's that other Forge Heroes or whatever? What's the podcast where they say just some triangles?
Oh, Forge the Narrative.
No,
No.
Lords and Heroes.
Oh, Lords and Heroes.
No,
yeah,
no. Anyway, the it literally is just
It's just some
triangles.
triangles.
That's actually what freehanding is. Or if you take Sam Lenz's class, you draw a circle and then like a cross through the circle, and then some triangles to make the mouth of the skull, that like the nose and the mouth, and then you paint over it with your bone color, and that's the skull.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was all, and I was just like, I was looking at that going like, oh, magic,
That's awesome.
witchcraft.
So,
Yeah.
So the next warband, you're gonna paint some skulls on it.
Yeah. Oh, I have an idea for the Banshees already.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I was thinking about it. That's kind of the one I'm most excited for, because I think they're actually going to be good.
Yeah.
So
I've played a couple games with them. They're
yeah,
pretty
me
good.
too.
Yeah.
Although I played them. You can wait. Can you? Did you play them like you can inspire during a charge, or you have to wait until
No,
afterwards?
After.
Yeah, because I played it both ways, and because I didn't know which way like it's going to be. So and whenever I played it where you can inspire during a charge, blowouts. But if it was like you can't, they were competitive but still good.
Yeah.
I think you stomped me both ways when we played.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. We did that. We played a stream game,
Yeah.
and we played
Yeah.
one where you could and one where you couldn't. That's exactly what happened.
The podcast I was referencing is the Independent Characters podcast.
Oh, the independent. Yeah, that's the one.
Which is a great podcast for any of our
It is.
listeners out there.
Yes, that's it.
Besides Battle for Salvation and Path to Glory, Independent Characters is the reason why I got into podcasting.
There we go.
Cool.
I think it's kind of undisputably everyone's favorite.
Yeah.
It's the grandfather.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it before. What is it?
You don't play 40K, so
I don't play 40K.
Yeah.
That's right.
that's why
I
you
haven't
haven't heard of it.
listened to it either. Probably should.
I mean, Max gave us a great segue as he said he beat up on Jonathan with Invalid Warband. So we'll go to Jonathan now in
2 ways.
2 ways. What Jonathan, what was your favorite experience at Nova? And I think I know what it may have been. But...
It was definitely having breakfast with me.
Yeah, that was interesting.
What?
All right, story time.
I don't really like eating breakfast, but
You're
I
anti-breakfast?
did go. Well, I usually just drink coffee in the morning. So
Oh, you
I
have
was
your
like,
cigarette and your
I
coffee?
should get something to eat before this tournament. And then I ran into Max and like we went to breakfast at the hotel. But that was nice. I ate like a $20 half of an omelet. So
Perfect.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah,
nice.
exactly. So the event in general, I think, because this is the first Grand Clash that I've been to, and then the Grand Battle at the ATC was really the first big event that I had traveled to. For any of this stuff, I've been to like hotel conventions before. There's one in the Dallas-Fort Worth area called QuakeCon that's pretty popular.
Ooh.
And it's like a big LAN party basically, but ran by the guys that make the Quake games.
Okay.
And so like I'm familiar with that kind of stuff. I've been there a few years and everything, but I think comparing Nova to ATC, it's really just what you guys were talking about. The social aspect was a lot more. When we were at ATC, like it was pretty much just Aman and Davey and me hanging out, and that was fun. But it wasn't like a big party like Nova was, because it's in a hotel, and then we were just like in the hotel across the street, and most everybody was in the hotel. It just felt like basically just a big party. I think my favorite moment of the whole thing was on the third night when after we did our third round or fourth round, I guess. And we were all just at the roof bar, and then I don't think that was the night. Was that the night the music was? Yeah, I think that was the night Mike Brand's music was going on, and
Yeah, I think that was
it was just cool.
It was Saturday, yeah.
Yeah, it was Saturday night. It was just fun. Like 4 of us had made it into the top 4 or top 8. Jimmy and Aman and I and Max. It was just cool. It was just a good time. And really both of those nights when we were just hanging out and drinking and being social and stuff, like I think that's probably the part that looking back is like that's why I would go back more than anything else. It was cool to win, I guess.
Oh, there it is, folks.
Spoiler.
Yeah, just so conceited.
Cool to win.
Humble bragging.
Of all the Jonathan Davis-y things to say, that was the Jonathan Daviest.
Did you just Charlie Brown our podcast, Max?
I did.
So-
But that really was just like the icing on the cake. Like everything up to that point had been like really cool and just really great. So
Well, I didn't win, and I had a great time. So
I'm
there
pretty
you
sure
go.
I've peaked. So I don't think I can expect to win next time.
Well, that's why Michael Carlin helped you with your deck and not Max, because he didn't think you were going to win.
wait, what?
What?
That's why Michael Carlin helped you with your deck.
Oh yeah, right.
And not
he
Max.
was actually
Oh.
pulling for Jonathan Davis.
Oh, sneaky.
See that?
We
Well,
can blame him.
that's awesome, and I would just echo that the most enjoyable thing for Nova for me is those experiences. Like the best kept secret of Nova is the rooftop.
Yep.
There is no pool up there, folks, but the rooftop has great drinks for charity. And on Saturday night,
There's a pool on the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
We can go hang out there.
Wait, no one in your high school ever said like the pool's on the roof? No, that wasn't a joke in your head. Oh man. I figured you being as old as me, I thought that would have been a joke in your high school.
Is that like a South thing? I don't know.
It was it was a joke from my high school too.
Is it?
Yeah, with like when freshmen would start, they would be like,
Is
"Where's
that code
the
for
pool?"
something? Oh, you would just
Pool's
tell
on
them
the
to go
roof.
to the roof and then like hang them out there. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
Oh, you're nicer than me.
No, just a lot of drugs.
No, but Jonathan's being totally humble. I'm glad that he picked that hangout was his favorite thing. But for those of our listeners that do not know, Jonathan was the Grand Clash champion of Nova. So congratulations.
There you go. All
to you.
right.
Yeah, congrats, man.
Thank you.
Again,
Yeah,
you get a round of applause.
that was obviously super cool. It was a great time. The games were great. It was really cool to lose in the 3rd round and then fight my way into the top cut and then still win. So
Against the same guy who beat you.
yeah, against the same
That's
guy.
true. Yeah.
And he was the only one to beat me at ATC as well. So 3rd time's the charm.
Oh.
You got a rivalry now.
Yep.
I know. But yeah, he was great to play with, and everybody was. I mean, the whole thing. Like, I don't think I have any complaints other than the format was a little weird. It was a little bit difficult to start your matches at 8:00 at night on the 2nd and 3rd day.
Yeah,
I was already like ready for bed.
Yeah.
Especially with the time difference. Like,
Well, with the jet lag, come on, man.
yeah.
For me, that was like 3:00 in the morning.
I bet. Yeah, it was only like an hour different for me, and I was like, I need to go to sleep. But I found that the last 4 games, when I sat down at the table, I just took my shoes off and like relaxed, and that helped a lot.
Oh.
In case you guys wonder what that smell was.
Pro tip.
We're hitting Grand Clash. Take your shoes off. Got it. I'm taking notes.
Get comfortable.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, fantastic. Any other comments about the event? We cover everything.
Well, I also think that this Nova is one of the most competitive tournaments in the U.S., if not on the East Coast. Definitely the East Coast. So the level of competition at this year's Nova was, and last year's was, very high.
Oh,
it was stacked.
I noticed a much different, much more difficult field this year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we had 2 Grand Clash winners already in the top 8.
3.
And then
4 if you consider you and Amon.
Well, yeah, I guess because we had a grand
think,
battle, the team championship one.
You got a giant class trophy.
You say 4, and then I think we had maybe 3, 4. I think 3 of us had made it to the finals before of one of those large events. So like the top 7, like 7 out of I think Ivan Cho was one of his first events, but I don't know him very well.
Yeah.
But I think the rest of us had already been there.
Gerard made the top 16
cut
and in the UK and during that one back in July, so he's no slouch.
No.
Yeah, he's a really good player.
And he was playing Godsworn at that.
Godsworn, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I know Ivan actually. He is a really good player, and he is actually the top of the Shadespire in the ITC ranking, which not everybody. I realize not everybody submits their scores to ICT, but ITC.
Oh.
But yeah, he's been around.
I think he was there last year too.
Okay.
I think he was. Yeah, I think that's how I met him last year.
Okay. Yeah. He seems like a great player, and his games against Dean were really close. I know that he took he almost got him on the first round of the final. So yeah, it was just really stacked. There's only a few people in the country that I think we're missing, like a few great players that probably would have been up there as well. So I've been hard pressed to, outside of the U.S. to find a better top 8. I think.
Mhm.
Would have liked to see Steve Van there.
Yeah, Steven
Yeah.
Van,
Tough.
Tony
With the
Theo.
goblins.
But I think he's going to SoCal, I think he said.
Yep.
And then probably LVO too. So
Yeah, I would like to see Justin from the Battlecast YouTube. I think he'll be at LVO. So.
Oh, good. And I'm also giving a shout out to Derek, aka Captain Murder, from I think he's from Calgary.
Yeah.
But he was at the Scotland one, and he lost to John Reese in the finals. So he went like 5-0 with some wacky Cursebreaker deck.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
So big up to Derek.
I mean, with all those great players that we're talking about, the big announcement in Nova was next year. Nova is the World Championship for Underworlds.
Oh yeah,
That's nuts.
that is nuts.
It is. I
Yeah.
mean, we know that Jonathan will be there because he's a Grand Clash winner, but how the rest of us going to get in?
I got a card.
2 of these cards now.
Oh, Max got a
Yep.
card?
I got a card last year. Came in third.
You
Well, there
guys
might be,
are real
like-
nice to me. That's all.
Davies got a card.
Oh, do you get one for the team?
He showed me he won something for. Well, he gets one for the team tournament, but he also has one from like something earlier.
I think it's top 4 get the cards.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
and then I think Davey might have been. No, maybe he didn't get 2 at ATC, but he definitely got 1.
Yep.
Yeah. So, yeah, that'll be fun. It'll be interesting to see if that's enough to bring the UK people over.
It'd be nice. That would
It'll
nice.
be really, really cool
Yeah.
to have like a Worlds sort of.
Think
Yeah.
about how many people we'll have to have on the podcast episode next year. Jeez,
Oh,
it's gonna be like a UN thing.
we're gonna we'll break.
Will the delegate from Scotland please be come to the floor?
We'll break Best Coast
Bryce Johnson,
pairings because everyone will be #podcast. So like the
Yeah.
first.
That's interesting that it's at Nova next year, not at Warhammer World,
You would think that's where it would be.
right? Because that's
Yeah.
where FFG does their worlds, right? They do it in
They do in Minnesota.
Minnesota, where that's where the headquarters
That's
is.
where the headquarters is.
Yeah.
Hey, I'll take it. It seems that I can only go to one convention a year. I will
Yeah.
take.
Yep.
I will
The
definitely
World
take it.
Championship.
Yep.
Hopefully they let us, us plebeians who haven't won a world.
Well, don't they do
Grand
like?
Clash.
Don't they do like the invitational for 40K and then they do like the main thing?
Well, that's a separate thing.
Right. So I maybe they'll do something like that where it actually is like. You have
And
to come
what's
like a
funny
day
is if more people care about the open one than the invitational one. I feel like for 40K at least.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
Because-
that that'll necessarily be the case for this though.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like the 40K Invitational is like a celebrity golf tournament.
Yeah.
They
Pretty
do.
much. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you win, if you win the open, that means you had to play, in that enormous room with, the hundreds of people and make it into the brackets. It's like 9 games or something you have to win to.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
GT's nine 40K games over
Yeah.
3 days.
3 days.
Whereas the invitational is like on the Wednesday night before everybody gets there.
Yeah.
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 But I'm hoping that, there'll be maybe like they'll give all the Grand Clash winners like maybe like a bye in the first round or 2 or something like that, and then everybody else can kind of battle it out and you can earn your way in there.
That'd be sweet.
That could be interesting. That's
Yeah.
something I hadn't really thought about. Yeah.
Just so I can play and not be in the scrub tournament.
No.
If they have they might do it like where the world thing is like on the first 2 days, and then the open one is like the same way they did it this year.
I hope
Yeah.
that's what it is.
It's
Because
simultaneously the end and the beginning of the season.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe that's why they picked Nova, is because it's usually right at the end of what the season would be.
Correct.
Well, no, I meant like they have like the worlds is on like the Wednesday and the Thursday, and then the regular tournament is the evening spread out over the couple days.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be an
yeah.
interesting way to do it.
Or the other way around, and then if somebody wins the big one, then they can also
They can play their way in.
yeah. But yeah, either one of those would be really cool.
Sweet.
Well, here's hoping that the rest of us have a chance to play our way in, unlike you heavy hitters up there at the top. So well, good. I for one am looking forward already to next year, the World Championships, and more importantly, getting to hang out with all of you on the rooftop. So with that, I think we'll wrap up this segment and come back from some closing statements.
All right, and we're back, and that'll wrap us up. So again, I just want to say thanks to these fine gentlemen from the Battle for Salvation Warhammer Underworlds podcast and Path to Glory. So thanks again, Max, Randall, and Jonathan for being on the show. Max and Randall, why don't you let our listeners know where they can go to hear your delightful, sultry voices in perpetuity?
Sure. Thanks for having us on. We're happy to, chat with you guys anytime. It was really great seeing you guys down there. So what do we got? We have the Battle for Salvation Facebook page. Go to Facebook.
Yeah, it's Battle for Salvation Underworlds podcast on Facebook.
Is it?
Yes.
Sure.
And then on Podbean, it's Battle for Salvation Underworlds podcast.
Yeah. Hit follow, and then we're on iTunes. I have you guys subscribed, just so that you know.
Sweet.
Yep. And you should, and everybody else should have if you play the game, you should just subscribe to all the podcasts, because we're totally cool people.
We are. Jonathan, where do we find your stuff?
Our podcast is Path to Glory. If you search for Path to Glory podcast on Facebook, it should come up. I think it's that with a million numbers after it.
Right.
Whatever Facebook does by default. And then on Podbean, it is Path to Glory Underworlds podcast. If you haven't listened to it before, we try to focus on competitive gaming, just getting better as a player, and then building the community. So we try to mix it up between those topics.
And don't forget to plug the number one content for all of Underworlds, Well of Power.
Oh yeah.
You go to Well of Power and you get everything you ever wanted for Underworlds.
It's wellofpower.com.
Yeah, that's correct. And it's basically, if you want to create a deck guide, you have a deck that's been working out for you, you can do that. It's still kind of in process. I'm trying to make it look better and stuff like that, but it does work. You can make a deck guide, you can edit it, you can upload articles and stuff. There's an article library that has, I think, every article that's been written on this game. And you can search for it, and all the podcasts and everything come up.
Can we all stop for a second and appreciate this man?
I know, right? That's awesome.
Yes, he beat us all at the Grand Clash, but what has he done for the community here with this website? It's ridiculous.
It's awesome.
I was probably sitting on my couch once going it wouldn't be nice if all the stuff was in the same place, because I wouldn't have to go search around. Yeah, but I don't know how to do anything. And then Jonathan was like, I don't know how to do anything either, but I'm going to go do it anyway. And then he went and did it anyway.
Yep.
It is
right. Did you have to teach yourself JavaScript or something?
Well, thankfully Wix is doing a lot of it for me, but yeah, it's a work in progress.
Can we please appreciate it?
It's just a aggregated, community. Everything that's ever been published, regarding Underworlds is all categorized and linked on this one website. So if you play the game, you got to visit the website.
Yep.
And it will open a lot of doors to you with other different blogs and podcasts, and all organized. So
I think I have all the blogs. I think I have all the podcasts. As far as I know, I have everything. And if I'm missing anything, let me know and I'll put it up there. So the goal is really just to be everything that you need in one place. So, yep. Go do that.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that.
And shout out to Aman too, because he just couldn't make it tonight, but we love him too. And yeah,
absolutely.
It's hard enough to try and get, some of us together just to do our own podcast, much less to try and get together all
Yeah.
7 of us to do one of it. So.
Yeah, and I think he's at a wedding right now in California. So,
Yeah.
He's going to be stalking him. Yeah.
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 And then just look forward to this week. We should have our own episode about Nova. We should go through every game we played and why we brought what we brought and what we thought the meta would be and all that. So try to get as tactical and try to say what lessons we learned and what worked and what didn't. So
Looking forward to it.
yeah.
Max, Randall, are you guys gonna try to get something
Well,
Nova related out?
Well,
Or
Now I feel like I have to.
our track record is that we record the episode, right? And then
Right.
the morning after, GW makes an article that just
Right.
invalidates everything that we said, or the
Okay.
FAQ
Well,
comes out, or on the day. So our strategy is we're gonna wait until a Beastgrave community article comes out. And then we're going to make an episode, and we'll probably talk about Nova.
I mean, a heads up would be nice.
I mean, that could
that's all
possibly
I'm
be
saying.
tomorrow.
well, what
Then
I'm gonna
so be
say
it.
is, why don't you guys record something and that'll force GW's hand,
There
right?
you go.
Doesn't
Right?
work like that.
Oh, dang it!
No, that's
We
good.
have
No,
no
that's that
control
thing
over
like
this.
where when you put warning shot in your hand and then Narvi and Turash start
Yeah.
killing everything. No, I get it.
Okay,
You're just tempting fate.
Yeah.
okay.
I get it. Is that a card?
Branching fate.
Branching fate.
That's the...
One fate. We all have one fate. Anyway, so look for Beastgrave content coming from the Battle for Salvation podcast soon.
We're just shucking and jiving until we can find that one. I'm just like, all right, where is it? Where is it coming? Is it coming? Is it coming? And then finally it does. And then
Okay,
we're like, let's do it.
sweet.
I think so.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, guys. This has been episode 13, #Pod Squad. And for the Battle Mallet podcast, you're BMing me. Stop it. We are what, 4 dads?
I am, yeah.
And 2 wombat poop cubes.
That's really out of context.
Or I guess it's really 1 wombat poop cube and Warhammer Underworlds Grand Clash winner.
The champ.
Randall's the
That was, I mean, it was bound to happen that way.
This is Jared signing out.
This is Trace signing out.
And I'm Jason Tabledew Murray. Get the hell out of here.
The Battle Mallet podcast is protected under the Creative Commons license. If you have further questions as to its use, you can find more information via links on podcast.battle-mallet.com. Music by Anno Domini Beats.
I'll bring
Put my pants back on.
Who said that?